Greetings YouTube and welcome back to my channel. I am surrounded by literally thousands and thousands, look in that rear view mirror, of adventure motorcycles. It can only mean one thing: I am at the ABR Festival 2025 at Ragley Hall. The sun is shining, it's going to be a great weekend. Let's have it! Well, just making our way into the festival now. This is the Friday when I'm arriving. It opened on the Thursday. There are a lot of people around. Ragley Hall Estate is the host as usual. And basically the entire place becomes an adventure bike playground for the weekend. Some amazing guest speakers, got the likes of Itchy Boots, the Missenden Flyer, the list goes on and on. It's just great to be here, meeting some subscribers, saying hello, hanging out, catching the vibe. Happy days. Right, that's home for the weekend. Let's go and check this festival out. The bikes just keep on coming in. Thousands and thousands of them.
That's it. I don't think I need to introduce you. You're quite a popular guy, aren't you? I already given him the rev up on the Iron Horse.
It sounded good. It sounded good.
That kind of set the mood, I think.
That's it. Has anyone here not heard of Adam Riemann? Mate, it's good to have you on stage. We spoke yesterday as well, didn't we? We spoke last year, and I never tire of chatting to you about motorbikes and travel, because you create some of the most inspiring, entertaining, and well thought out motorcycle content there is out there today. I feel as if I'm flirting with you, because every time I talk to you I just tell you how great you are. Do you ever get a bit bored of it?
I think it's all about the content and the colour and, you know, the crazy adventures. I mean, when I started the channel, I was literally hidden behind the helmet, and I was just that guy on that bike, and that guy that did that, and that guy that did a wheelie in front of the pyramids, and no one really knew me, and I didn't have to give much away. And the only real personality that may have come through was when I started doing the narration. But then all of a sudden everyone wanted to be a YouTuber, and they were vlogging and pointing cameras at their faces, and I had to evolve and start to do that and start to give more of myself just to stay relevant. And I to this day I don't think I'll ever be comfortable with it, but I've worked out that I just have to go my own way and be myself, and you're never going to please everyone. You're better off just staying true to what you want to create. And I find if I'm having a good time, if I'm stoked on the shots and stoked on the riding and, you know, the people I meet, generally that content goes better.
So this hasn't got awkward yet. We're all right.
I like you, James. I actually put in a request to have my, you know, stage chats with you.
Yeah, right. Don't get too. This is now getting a bit awkward. I'm a happily married man. But anyway, you guys were chatting as I dashed back from the loo about what you've been up to in the UK on this beast out here. So for anyone that didn't hear, can you let us know, you've covered a lot of miles in not much time, haven't you?
Yeah, 4,500 kilometres. I know you guys are miles, but I'll get it wrong if I'll just speak in Ks. Day one, I was just telling them how the shipping was delayed and blah, 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 and I didn't really have a plan. And then I wouldn't normally do it, but it was so last minute. I connected with a follower on Facebook. He had a Kajiva elephant in Scotland, and he was right up the top, and I thought, that thing looks trick. It looks like the nemesis to the Iron Horse, which it is, because these are the bikes that were fighting for Dakar wins in the 90s. The XTZ Super Tenere, the XRV, Kajiva Elephant, and the R80 GS. They were the ones, right? So I thought, whatever, it's got to be a good storyline. Meet up with this complete stranger who's a Polish Scottish dude, and a Polish guy that lived in Scotland.
Was there? So, do I suspect there was a lot of drinking involved with that mix of cultures?
No, he's into it, and he wasn't a big drinker, and I just sort of, shit, I got to get up there and put in 800 Ks day one. Once I got it in the crate, I thought, you always think you've got this time frame mapped out. But I didn't get out of Feltham, Heathrow, for Heathrow until like midday, and just navigated the motorways and the trucks, and you know, I built this bike and shipped it away, like it just vanished, and then getting to know it, dodging trucks up the motorway out of London. But I did it. I got into Scotland to Avamore at about 9 o'clock at night, 800k day. I don't like to do that shit, but I had a very compressed window and just needed to start up the top, and then pretty much worked my way down, saw some beautiful parts of Scotland, and yeah, had kind of like people to connect with in each country. Scotland, Ireland,
country,
Wales. Is Wales its own country?
Are there any Welsh people here? Yeah. I think the answer is yes.
Well,
yes.
Wales, honestly, until I rode the tracks, it finally hit home why so many of the best off-road enduro riders in the world come out of the UK, because that landscape, that terrain, the hills and the rocks, and it's just so wet and so challenging, and I love that stuff. Like, it made up. One day in Wales with Lel Pavey, he just pointed me through all the hard shit, and it just put the biggest smile on my face. I'm so proud of that bike. It got through all of it, and I didn't wreck it. I don't want to damage the thing. It has this is the first of many adventures. That's now my sleeper agent that I'm going to send to different countries. Go home, lick my wounds, plan the adventure, and then roll in, pull it out of the crate, and travel through that country. So UK has been the first project for the Iron Horse, and this is the tail end of it, the ABR.
Really enjoyed Adam Riemann's talk. That was really interesting. I'm going to try and catch Missenden Flyer next, and then Elspeth Beard, Itchy Boots of course later, but first, most importantly, lunch.
Every single person we email and say, hey guys, I know you were here last year or the year before, we're old friends. Could you give us a small idea as to how you would like to be introduced?
Well,
this is what our next guest wrote, which is why I'm reading it.
eye candy. That's what he says.
Do you want to read it?
I think so. I think
the
the ladies might appreciate this.
Go on.
So we have our next guest is some real eye candy for the ladies and for some of you gents too. Similar to Tom Cruise, only slightly taller. I don't know about that. I don't think he is. He needs little introduction, but safe to say, like Tiny Tom. He's an accomplished pilot. He's an experienced skier. Are you really?
It says expert skier.
A successful businessman, great father, and perfect husband. Carol, where are you, Carol? Is he a perfect husband? That's what I want to know. She's disappeared, she's left you. Yeah, I've got to question her about that later. But in his spare time, he's amassed 110 million views on his YouTube channel.
Do that again, that's worth repeating. 110
10 million views. Going up another minute.
Seriously, that is definitely worth a round of applause.
And his YouTube channel is the Missenden Flyer, so please welcome an all-round regular guy, the Missenden Flyer.
What a great intro. I couldn't have written it better myself.
Word.
I've got a bit more gusto though. Next is some real eye candy. Anyway, I might have been a bit drunk when
Did Carol write that, or did you write it?
Could you imagine if she wrote it? That 110 million, when Richie came on earlier and he said 10 million. Amateur. Anyway, thank you everybody for coming. I can't believe when I walked up here and saw everybody here, I thought, who are they waiting for? And then realised it was actually me. Isn't this bizarre?
Yeah.
This is great.
Tom Cruise's better looking stunt double.
Yeah, exactly.
Come on,
I'm
grab
glad
a
you
seat.
think that.
Grab a seat.
I'm going to leave my phone there because I'll be sat on it otherwise. Right, what are we talking about
Well,
then?
you became first known for making just a few, short bike videos.
I did.
About, how to maintain your bike, little newsy things about videos and lots of trips and tours. Is it still basically the same thing?
It pretty much is, except the maintenance stuff has taken a bit of a dive of late, in that I've been known as the man with sort of plastic spanners, so I'm not so good at that anymore. And the tours have got a bit less exciting. I was exhausted listening to Rich this morning, all that off-road stuff. I can't be doing with that. Give me a gold wing and a road and I'm happy. Does that make me tedious? Yes, it does.
Our next guest I'm going to introduce straight away, Elspeth Beard, whose journey finished in 1984, who's released a best-selling book. Is a very dear friend. And all we had to do to get her back on stage is promise that we were going to do this whilst drinking gin and tonic. So please don't judge.
But I learned so much about myself and people and the world, knowing that if my bike broke down, the buck stopped with me. If I couldn't fix it in a desert, and I was dead. So it really sort of sharpened your mind and focused you to being incredibly careful and
you had to
looking after
self-reliant.
yourself. You had to be totally self-reliant. I mean, I could strip my bike apart and I could fix anything with it. I had all the tools I needed. I carried everything with me. I had all the spare parts I needed. I worked out the mileage from Australia back to England. I counted how many spark plugs I'd need, how many sets of points I'd need, all this kind of stuff. And so I knew, I organised myself the best I could, but the buck stopped with me, and I had to look after myself and look after my bike and rely on absolutely nobody else. And that, if you get that mindset, it's a very powerful and empowering thing.
And then the guy kind of off he went, and he kind of separated up, and he kind of started lifting up, and then he kind of peeled off, and he went away. And I looked down on my road book, and I'm like, okay, where am I? I said earlier that there's times in your life where it just gets flipped upside down and everything gets destroyed. And it can be lots of different things. It can be physical stuff. It can be things like cancer and car accidents and strokes and all this kind of horrible stuff physically. But it's also sometimes you go through divorce, or sometimes you face financial ruin, or you're a victim of crime or abuse, or there's so many ways that things just go wrong in your life. But I wanted to just leave you with this, just to encourage you that when it's hard and you feel like you can't go on, just go, okay, one more day, and just tick your way through those dark times, and just keep going no matter how dark it gets. And remember that life shrinks or expands according to one's courage. Thank you, guys.
Listen, I'm not going to do a massive big introduction because you know who this person is. She's been here before, we all watch her, she's lovely, she's a great storyteller. Please put your hands together for the one and only, please, Itchy Boots.
The main thing, I was going to come here and talk about how it's like to ride around the world on a vintage motorcycle this time. I thought that might be an interesting topic to talk about. So I am heading to Japan, and I've just completed kind of the first leg of the journey. Okay, so I started in Istanbul, and so I rode through Turkey, and then I went into Iraq, and then into Iran, back into Iraq, to Kuwait, Saudi Arabia, and then I took a quick jump to Yemen, but that was on another motorbike. Then back on my motorbike, and then to Dubai. And that's been the first leg, and I think it's about 20,000 kilometers. I have to count it because my bike has no dashboard. I have nothing. I don't have, nothing. So I have to kind of manually count how many kilometers I'm doing. So it's about 20,000. And so I now came to the UK for the book tour. I just want to say thank you so much for everybody who already bought my book. Yay, I hope that you enjoy the read. It's a very, I shared a very personal side of the story in my book. And because so many of you bought it, it made it as a Sunday Times bestseller and a New York Times bestseller. And we know what that means. That just means that more people are gonna learn about our world. Right? Adventure motorcycling, it is the best world, and so I'm really happy that more people get to know us now. My general bike choices, which are doubtful sometimes maybe, according to the internet, and explain you a little bit, what bikes I've ridden so far and why. Because I started my journey in India, and I rented a motorcycle first, which happened to be a Royal Enfield Himalayan, because fancier, because that's basically the only bike that was there. So I was like, okay, I'll take that. And then I liked it, so I was like, I'll buy that. So that was a Basanti. And I rode that motorcycle from India, then back to the Netherlands. And then my next plan was like, okay, now I want to ride from Patagonia to Alaska. But this motorcycle that I bought in India had Indian plates. And so the paperwork was a little bit of a nightmare. And I crossed 25 countries as Ahmed Mohammed. it worked, but you know, people said like, you're not going to get away with that in South America, or especially actually Mexico. They really want to make sure that you are actually really the owner. So then I was like, maybe I should have a motorbike with Dutch plates, and that's registered to my name. So in came the second, the Royal Enfield, Dano. And I rode it from Patagonia I made it only until Peru, and then COVID hit. So I had to escape. I had to get the bike out as well, and I went back to the Netherlands thinking, what am I going to do with my life now? And I basically just looked, where can I go? Which country is open? And at that point, Northern Europe was open. So I was like, off I go to North Cape. And so I was like, okay, I need a motorbike. And I did very little research. I just like Googled adventure motorbike, good for Northern Europe. And that gave me this one. So I bought a second-hand Honda CB500X. Because I knew like, okay, it's probably gonna be more tarmac, so it will be a good bike. It was a good bike, but I found it too heavy, you know, so I was actually terrified taking it even on gravel roads, because I was like, oh, this thing is so heavy. So it was good for that trip, but I was kind of like, not really it. Then when I finished that trip, South America was still closed, so I couldn't back to Peru to continue. So I was like, where can I go now? South Africa opened. Yes. So off I go to South Africa, and I went to a motorcycle shop, and well, they had second-hand Honda, they had second-hand KTMs, but the KTMs were too pricey. I was like, that's too expensive. So then I bought the second-hand Honda CRF 250L. So cute. And I rode 5 months around South Africa, Namibia, Botswana, Zimbabwe. Then tried my first rally on it and broke the subframe in half. So the bike now lives in a motorcycle museum in South Africa. You can go and see Savannah there. But riding that motorbike really introduced me to how it's like to ride a light bike. Because, okay, many people will still consider these to be light, but not really in my book, like 200 kilos. I find it still quite heavy. But when I rode that one, I really realized I really can go anywhere on this motorbike, you know, it doesn't matter. I can always, if I'm on a single trail, I can turn the bike around. If it falls upside down in a ditch, I know I can get it out of there. So, and it still took me everywhere, you know? So I was like, okay, something about this bike. And then, well, I had an accident. I'm not the first one probably to talk about an accident. Mine luckily wasn't so bad, but yeah, it took me out for a little bit. And at that point I was like, okay, I'm also gonna retire the motorbike. You know, I was like, this is it now. I've taken this bike for a very long way. It's done its job. I think it's time to retire it. In comes this baby. Yeah, she's pretty. So this is my current motorcycle. It's a Yamaha XT600Z. Her name is Frankie. And the reason of the name is because the motorcycle is basically completely stripped back down to the frame and completely rebuilt up again, but then also using a lot of different parts from this motorcycle, but like models from late 80s, early 90s, which had already like in some ways slightly better parts here and there. You are on a pretty good path, you know? So I get all these problems, but I enjoy solving them. So ultimately, you know, it works out. So that was kind of like, yeah, the story that I wanted to bring is that, you know, you try to find a motorcycle that fits you well, and you try to prepare, but ultimately, you know, the world is going to throw all sorts of stuff at you, but that's when it becomes interesting, right? Because like all these moments, that's why I remembered all of this, because those are the most memorable things that happened, because in the moments that it all went wrong, and I, you know, managed to get myself into trouble somewhere and had to go and find locals to help me. You know, those were the meeting of people that stayed with me and that I remember and that I write about in my book. Whereas the days that it all went smoothly and you had a nice riding day, scenery was beautiful, I don't remember those days, you know. So, and luckily I don't have to go search for trouble, because it will always find me anyway. So I'll have plenty of that. Then you might also realize that the next part of the journey is gonna be wild. So yeah, that's gonna, yeah, so after I finish the book tour, I'll be going up to Scotland next. After I finish that, then yeah, I'm gonna go back to Frankie and brace myself for what's coming next. So yeah, thank you so much for coming. And, yeah.
So folks, after the bum fight that was escaping the Itchy Boots tent earlier, it is really nice to be back at my little tent where I'm just having a breather before I get a shower. Then I'm going to go and get myself something to eat and then catch some of the live music. What a day it's turning out to be. Tomorrow I am going to hopefully get a test ride, although it involves getting up super early to try and book one in. And then the fun will continue. It's been so nice meeting some subscribers as well to the channel. Really, really nice meeting you all. What a day, what a weekend. $17,000 people all having a good time. Bird catches the test ride. So it's, what is it? It's 5 to 6, and with the magic of YouTube it's suddenly morning. Time to get the Saturday started. So, having queued since 6:30 this morning, it's now just gone 8, and I have the all-important wristband that allow me to test ride a Tenere rally. That's not till 11, so I'm going to go and grab some breakfast now. So I'm a bit on the hungry side. Shaping up to be another good day. The queues are just horrendous. That there is the Honda queue.
Man, can you hear me?
Everywhere is just completely manic, so top advice for you if you want to test ride at the ABR Festival next year is they open up the bookings at 8 o'clock for rides up until midday, and then at 11 o'clock they open up the bookings for rides until 4 PM. For the 8 o'clock one, people were there at 6 AM, I got there at 6:30. And it's be similar in the afternoon. You're going to give up most of your morning getting in the queue, I think, because there obviously are a limited amount of bikes, but it's a great opportunity to take one of these Teneres out off-road, because if I was just to take one out from a dealership I would be confined to the road somewhat. So it's a good chance, good experience. Look at that Honda, and there is the queue. And then over here, KTM. Another massive queue. You also need a driving licence, obviously. Has to be a full A licence, and they're going to breathalyse you before you ride. And some of them want your national insurance number or a driving licence code check number, which I've got it all with me, but they only wanted to see my driving licence. Anyway, enough of that. Breakfast. Well, there has been a lot of waiting around to make this happen, but I have a Tenere 2025 Tenere rally that we're doing an off-road test drive on, which should be fun if I can ever get my gloves on. Everything is hot and sweaty at the minute. Oh gosh. Well, that is a lot higher than the GS, I can tell you. Apparently it's quite slippy out there and quite dusty. This is the first time I've ridden a modern T7. I had an XT660 back in the day, and very much fun it was. Shook me to pieces, mind. This one I'm guessing is going to be a lot smoother. 32 degrees, oh my gosh. Well, I couldn't remember how to do the traction control and ABS, so I've just got what I've got. It's in Power 1, which is apparently the sport setting, so it's a bit snatchier than the Explore setting. And they did say, as I mentioned a second ago, that it's quite dusty out on the Bridgestone Trail and the Manufacturer's Trail, and very dusty. Well, this is comfortable, I like this. Would I want to be on it all day long? Probably. Feel the 21-inch front wheel. Very different feel to the GS, which has a 19-inch front wheel. Bit more road bias, the GS. Just reminds me of my old 1008 and the Africa Twin I had not that long ago. Right, we're indicating that way. Oh my gosh, it is dusty. And we're off and out. I'm a bit wary of the dusty conditions, to be honest. Yeah, I'd overtake me as well. Apparently this route started the weekend as grass, not so much now. Oh, a few ruts starting. Must take all year for these trails to repair. And then they get created again for the next one. Oh gosh, can't see. I think I'll be riding past my camping area soon. Really good suspension on this, soaking up the little bumps that we've got. Very, very loose. So folks, in a future episode, I think it's October when I'm going, I have signed up for the B&W Off-Road Skills experience, the first course there, which I should obviously be bringing you guys along for. And hopefully I will get to hone my skills a bit, or maybe even get some skills, because as far as going off-road goes, I've always just kind of worked it out as I've gone along. Even though I started off riding off-road, wasn't with any instruction or anything. Okay, we're peeling off there, that's good. Well, it's not even a serious gnarly off-road route and my arms are completely pumped. Completely. I'm guessing we're on the manufacturer's trail now, not the general public Bridgestone trail. Keep over this side, try and keep out of their dust a little bit, of which there is plenty. Very punchy motor. Remembering the old one foot on the floor and the other one's way up in the air scenario like I used to have on my old XT. Got to stop worrying what's going on behind me a little bit. I think I feel pressured that the person behind me is close, but they're not actually that close. Best being back a little bit because of all that dust. Feel the back end stepping out. This is where you need fancy drone footage going on to capture how inadequate I look. So you don't have to be super tall to ride one of these if you're confident, because the instructor, he's shorter than me. He's kind of hanging off the saddle when he stops, but he's obviously super confident, happy. I think it's getting used to the bike is the thing. Emerging from a cloud of dust. always just feel on the edge of being in control, and maybe that will change after a week at the off-road skills with BMW in October. Not a week, 2 days. I wouldn't have been able to afford a week, blimey. 2 days is dear enough. Well, if you were to say, when I finish this ride, did I enjoy myself? The answer would be yes. Still got to park it up, but fingers crossed I got it back in one piece, albeit leaving the trail for a moment and riding over one of the spikes. I know what I am going to do once I've done this. It's 31 degrees. I'm going to go and change out my bike gear into some shorts and check out the rest of the festival. Ryan F9, he's doing a talk in the Traveller's Tent, where I caught Adam Riemann yesterday, I nearly said last week. So that's on the agenda for me. That was fun, enjoyed that.
Enjoyed that?
Very much so, thank you. Thank you very much.
Cheers guys. You go and see the guys on the Yamaha stand and give me a bib back.
Yep.
The Yamaha t-shirt as well.
Nice one.
Souvenir bit, memento for your ride.
Thank you once again, and may you not melt all day long.
Today's the worst day.
Thank you, Yamaha, for looking after me. Thank you to Dave Brown. Thank you to Lucy Carter. Brilliant hospitality from Yamaha UK, and very interested about what a real world rider is getting up to. So they were keen to hear about how I've been getting on with the GSA in places like the Sahara, and what kind of Yamaha would work for me. I wonder what you think I should be on. Should I be on a Beamer, Yamaha, Triumph? No idea. No idea. It is probably a golden age for motorcycles, isn't it? I think so many good bikes out there, and you're spoiled for choice, and all of them will do something that you want and more besides. It's just picking the right tool for you individually, I guess. But anyway, that was very, very pleasant. I've been invited to swing by as often as I like to get refreshed, which I'm going to take them up on, because it's 33 degrees at the minute and I am about to melt. So it's back to the tent. I'm going to have a shower, get changed, and then check out Ryan F9.
Ladies and gentlemen, thank you all for coming out to see me. That's wonderful. Makes me feel so special. Yeah, thanks so much for joining us. Standing room only. If there is anyone out there in the heat, if people are able to move across a little bit, let people get into the shade, it would be lovely. But yeah, it's nice to see a packed tent. I can't imagine why. I don't really know why. I've had the pleasure of interviewing this chap a few times now for the magazine at the ABR Festival. And it's quite difficult coming up with a different introduction every time I do it.
Let's see what you got.
Well, I've tried, so I'm actually going to read it out, because I spent a little bit of time thinking about this one. It's okay, it's okay. So, ladies and gentlemen, our next guest has done more to demystify motorcycle gear, riding technique, and the philosophy of two-wheeled life than just about anyone. With more than 2 million subscribers on YouTube, I think it's like 2.7 or something.
No, I don't think it's that much.
No, bashful.
No.
A passion for science, an uncanny knack of telling compelling stories, and a very Canadian way of being awesome. Ladies and gentlemen, please get up for Ryan Kloptinger! Got a new fan.
Thank you very much for joining in, and thank you, James. You've outdone yourself with the introduction.
Is that the best one yet?
Yeah, next year, I mean, the bar's been set high, so...
I think next year I might get you to introduce me.
Yeah, I think we'd better do that, yeah.
Mate, welcome back to the festival. We had a 2-year break.
Yeah, we did. Yeah, missed last year. Had a baby.
Selfish.
So was very happy to be home for that one. But also very good to be back, and I'll be back next year for sure. I love it here.
How is family life?
Family life is great. Yeah, I've got 2 little ones, and I love it. It's my favorite thing, and it was actually the impetus for what we're talking about. Because last time I was here, I heard that the round the world record was 19 days, and I hate being away from home for very long, but I've always wanted to bite off like a feature-length movie. So I said to my wife, "Hey, if I go away and shoot something big, but I come back in less than 19 days, would that be okay?" So
you've given away the surprise. You know that, don't you?
Gosh, have I ruined your lead-in?
Ruined the surprise. I had like 20 questions leading up to the culmination.
Okay, forget everything you just heard. This never happened.
It's all lies. It's not on YouTube yet, so it didn't happen.
Yeah, exactly.
Have you been sleeping over the past year or so with 2 babies now?
Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah, I sleep pretty well actually. I'm the heaviest sleeper in the world. I sleep through fire alarms and everything else. So you know, my poor wife will be up feeding the kids when she has to, and I'll wake up in the morning and go, "Wow, what a good night! You know, they slept through." And she's like, "You
giving you the evil eye.
You have no idea what happened last night."
Mate, we've spoken lots about Fortnite, making YouTube videos. I'd happily speak to you all day about it, to be honest with you, because you make, well, for me, the best stuff in the world. But I wanted to talk to you about a project in particular. I wonder what that could be.
Gosh, I wonder.
You've ridden around the world. Yeah, so for those of you, well, you all know now, but for those of you who weren't listening a few seconds ago, you set out to break a record, didn't you? Which was a bit of a departure for Fortnite in terms of the content you create. So can you explain to people exactly what you did, what the plan was, and why you decided to do it?
Yeah, it was a massive departure. If you've noticed that I've been on the channel less over the last year, it's because I've been working on this project. And it's a very big one. So we shot the whole thing as a dark comedy. It's a feature length. It's going to be a lot of fun, and it's going to be in theaters and in streaming services, which we're very excited about. The goal was to break the circumnavigation record, which is the fastest time around the world by car, boat, or motorcycle. It's always been done on motorcycles because of their ability to get through traffic. It was set last in 2005 by Nick Sanders, who's also here. And is a hero of mine for the endurance rides that he's done. And we wanted to do the record in the simplest way possible so that it would be repeatable. Because we really don't care too much about getting the record or not. It was about making an awesome movie and trying to encourage people to get out there and do it themselves if they want to. So we set a route that's easy to replicate. So it's Anchorage to Miami, diagonal across Canada, North America. You fly to Lisbon and ride to Istanbul through much of southern Europe. You fly to Mumbai and ride to Kolkata, across India, fly to Bangkok and ride to Singapore, Thailand, Malaysia, and Singapore, and then go to Perth and ride to Sydney across the Nullarbor. And we set it as a simple time. So the clock started when the kickstand was up in Vancouver, and we were heading east, and the clock stopped when we came back around from the west. So it includes everything, all flights, all rest, food, and that kind of thing.
You do some unusual motorcycle videos, but when you went home, how did you explain to your better half, you have got 2 kids, honey, I'm going to ride around the world?
My wife is a saint. I think she was excited for me and knew it was something that I would really enjoy doing. I probably minimized the danger a little bit when talking to her. To set the record, your ride days are usually 24 hours. You sleep for 2, and a few times we were like in the mid 30s, and we had at least one day that was in the mid 40s of just non-stop riding. Your stationary time is what kills you. So you go tank to tank. You get your fuel and water and food in less than 7 minutes, and then you go again. and you just snatch little bits of sleep by the side of the road in your helmet, because that's the most comfortable thing. It holds your head all around. You don't feel the rocks or the vegetation. It's a really nice place to actually lay your head. And then we had a bivy bag up to the neck, so we're like these little sardines, just little stored motorcyclists on the side of the road. And you just keep pushing like that over and over and over again. Not at all a safe thing to do by any means. It's a dangerous thing, but it was something that we wanted to do to push ourselves, and we had a blast. It was an awesome ride.
Ryan is here for the duration of the festival. I'm sure he'd be happy to have a chat with you outside the tent, unless you're dancing off to another appointment.
This was my last obligation, so I'm officially on vacation.
This is your last
now.
gig,
Yeah,
so feel free to have a chat. Keep it up for Ryan F9!
My name's Chris Northover. I'm going to be your host. You have every permission to ignore every word I say, because it's all irrelevant compared to what these guys are going to do on the bikes. They're going to put on an amazing show for us. We had a wild time last night. We almost set fire to the logs. We're going to try not to do it again. We have got the fire brigade on standby. This show has been really popular over the last few years, and each year they manage to push levels to another high and just really take what these bikes can do to a new limit. One of the things that's really worth pointing out as well is we're in natural terrain, a rolling grassy field. We're not on groomed perfect tracks with perfect takeoffs. This is kind of rough and ready terrain, so the stuff they're doing isn't all prepped, it's not polished. This is raw talent, and hopefully a few dodgy, sketchy moments into the mix, because that always makes it exciting. So can we kick off? We're going to make some noise. We're going to send the guys around on their sign laps. So can we have some noise for our riders on the GoPro Arena? So what we're going to do, we'll let them have a little warm up. We're going to get them all out on the bikes, get them around for a lap of the course, get their eye in, wake up, straight into the logs. And once they're around, we're going to then go through each of them individually, riding each of their sections, all of them doing different strengths, different things on the bikes, a few different shows and demos. So let's give it a cheer as it comes out of the pit. Absolutely! I told you, I wasn't lying. He goes absolutely massive on that thing every single year. Let's give Jake a cheer as he comes back into the arena, because he's taken 20 years off his ankles every single day for you people. Give him a cheer for Jake Eady! Get him across the logs. Absolutely massive send over the logs there, landing on the brakes, using all of that 200mm fork travel. Jake, how much what was that jump all about? I'm lost for words.
Oh, I don't know, just dropped in and hooked up and she went.
What gear are you hitting that in?
I've got no idea.
I like that. We're not going to get too technical here. I've got no idea. And we're going to have a hit of the little dirt jump over there as well. Let's have a couple more jumps. Do we want to see a couple more jumps, guys? Yes, we do. I'm sure somewhere in the crowd is a Royal Enfield structural engineer shaking his head and crying about what Jake's doing to this poor bike, but it doesn't seem to bother him. Massive launch off there, ladies and gentlemen. We're going to get one more back down the hill. We got time for one more, Jake. Huge send on the Royal Enfield Himalayan. So we can chip off that from him. Let's see a launch over the logs. Massive. Did you see the control on that? Can you do that twice? Was that a fluke? Did you see? If you watch, I'm going to put this fluff of grass here. He hit that absolutely inch perfect front and back wheel. That's the control we're talking about that lets you ride one of these at this level. Ladies and gentlemen, you're not happy with that one, are you? Yeah, it's getting dusty. Do we want to see some finish up jumps on this big pal over here? Yeah. Kevin.
I could launch it really hard if you're really loud. Like the distance will depend on your loudness.
You heard his promise. Let's make some noise. Let's be the loudest part of the Adventure Bike Festival.
Well, folks, that's bringing Saturday night to a conclusion. What a day it's been. It's been fantastic. I have caught the sun, as has about everybody else I think that I've seen around here. It's been an absolutely brutal day. 33, 34 degrees, sunshine, beautiful, much better than rain, but oh my gosh, no respite from it. Anyway, time for a kip. Tomorrow morning the festival continues. I'm going to be making tracks pretty much once I get up. I'll be breaking down the tent. I'll perhaps pop back into the festival, see who I can find. But what a weekend it's been. It's been absolutely fab. I recommend. Well folks, the tent is down, the sky is greying up now, but thankfully it's not rained. It has been a fantastic weekend for the weather. It has in fact been a fantastic weekend completely. And it's Sunday morning now. I'm off home to do a ton of editing because the video covering the festival will be out tomorrow on the Monday, so you're watching this a day after it happened if you watch it as it's published. If I bumped into you at the festival and there were many people that came and said hi, thank you for coming and saying hi. I really enjoyed meeting you and putting names to faces and taking selfies and all that stuff. It was fun. And leave a message in the comments if you did, so that I can put some more names to faces too. I do hope you enjoyed today's episode. If you did, please give it a like and subscribe to the channel. And I will see you in the next one. Bye bye.